Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? Another weekly edition of the show live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the like, podcast form, all podcast distributors. I'm Matthew Hunter. Going to be a fun show. We're going to obviously preview the upcoming fights this weekend. Daniel Dubois versus Joyce. Daniel Jacobs fighting this weekend against Gabriel Rosado, and I totally forgot that fight was happening this weekend. Totally spaced. Forgot it. I feel like I just put that fight into like a drawer and just left it there because I don't care about that fight at all. But Dubois, Joyce, oh my God. What a great fight. Cannot wait to dissect that one. Obviously, Terence Crawford and Bob Arum have been beefing. They've been it's an ugly divorce we're seeing over at Top Rank right now. One that was absolutely predictable, but it's still ugly nonetheless. Triple G and DAZN are restructuring their deal. Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos seem to be heading towards a showdown. And Teofimo Lopez brags about his new payout structure, which is insane. Boy, he's getting paid now. Cannot wait to dive into that, plus other topics on today's show. I'm joined by the one and only Gary in Dallas. Gary, how are you, man? Muted on StreamYard. It's okay, man.
That's 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
I'm looking forward to getting into this Crawford-Bob Arum feud. This is excellent.
So good. So good.
As far as the heavyweight fight, I mean, I know y'all are into it, but this is a one-sided beatdown in my book. But we'll see. Like, I mean, will you call it a coming out party when Dubois destroys him? But I feel like he already did that with Gorman. Like, we already know how good he is. But okay. And Jacobs Rosario, I think will be a fun fight, but it'll be, one-sided competitive kind of thing where Jacobs clearly is the classier guy. But without any further ado, I wish Rob was here because Fabio Worldly beats Joyce.
Stop.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
No, man.
100%.
No.
100%. He's not good. Like, he's slow. Like, it's still an athletic competition. And when one guy can't move, he's going to lose. Fabio Worldly is a good athlete. He's got, we showed. We're going to talk about that Worldly fight too. We'll talk about that.
I didn't watch any of the fights this last weekend. I'll be honest.
Okay. I
apologize, guys. I just spaced. I took the weekend off of boxing. I'll be honest. So I didn't watch any of the fights. Fabio Worldly fought this last weekend, did he?
Yeah.
Shit, what card was that? Oh, the Conor of course.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but look who he fought, like Richard Lardy, dude. Like,
okay, look, Larte is not a banger, right?
Dude.
He's not a big name.
Joyce beats Nathan Gorman up.
Larte put hands on Dubois.
No, he didn't.
They traded shots. I mean, Dubois was obviously the bigger, stronger guy and got rid of him, but he got hit for 4 rounds until he put him away. And then Larte went the distance with Gorman. Like, again, Larte is not a killer by any means, obviously, but he's a rugged guy, and he got destroyed by Worldly. I'm not saying Worldly is the next best thing. I'm saying Joyce? Come on, let's get a little bit realistic. Joyce is not that good.
Worldly beat him on the heels of those 2 losses. Like, Lardy is now 0-3 in his last 3 fights. That's come on, bro. You're not using Richard Lardy as like the example of like, yeah, Fabio Worldly can definitely beat the silver medalist.
I don't understand the Joyce thing.
Joyce has at least beat like top 20 guys. He has Bryant Jennings under his belt.
Yes, it's a good win. I picked Jennings to win, so
Bryant Jennings is better than both Fabio Worldly and Richard Lardy. Oh, come on, Gary.
He's more accomplished than Worldly.
No, it's not that he's more accomplished. It's that he's also better.
I was a big defender. I was an apologist for. All right.
Brian Jennings. Yeah, me too.
Brian Jennings. Jennings is a good athlete. He's good. He's big, strong. He's got some pop. He's a good athlete for that size.
Let's all be honest. That Klitschko fight was really fun. That's all that matters. Oh my God, LFC saying Jennings ain't better than Worldly. Oh my God, no.
Can someone else defend me here on Worldly?
I mean, you got one in the chat already. LFC
Thank you.
defending you. Come on, guys. Come on. No way. This is blasphemy here. Gary, do you want to get in? I mean, we're already talking about it. Do you want to get into the Dubois Joyce fight coming up this weekend? We'll just get into that.
I don't see how this fight's competitive. Like, to me, this is a young killer against a guy who's fundamentally good,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't have the goods. Like, did y'all watch Tom Brady last night? Like, he can't play anymore. Like, his brain is still there. He's still intact. His body just can't do what he wants to do because he's old. Now, Joe Joyce isn't old, but like his athleticism, his skills, his body can't do what other athletes do, right? Like, it's like this is a blowout, guys. This is not competitive. Like, Daniel Dubois is the next great one, and Joe Joyce is a highly skilled sitting duck. Like, it's an athletic competition, guys. Right? Like, it doesn't matter how good I got with my fundamentals with dribbling a basketball or shooting. I'm not going to beat Kobe Bryant, right? Because, well, he's a world-class athlete and I'm not, right? Like, that's what we have here. This isn't close. This isn't competitive. Joe Joyce is good at that level. You put him in the ring with world-class athletes, forget about it. He loses every time.
To use a old school term, Joe Joyce is slower than molasses, okay? That dude, oh my God. It's like he's moving through water, right? Like, it's just so sad. Here's the deal. I think Joe Joyce absolutely has the power to make this interesting. To, like, let's say if he catches Dubois while he's coming in, that would be kind of interesting to see what happens if Dubois' chin can really hold up to that type of power. Also, if this goes round and Dubois cannot have success, let's say, like, from a technical perspective, he's not able to, like, cut the distance off or able to really get within the size and reach of Joe Joyce, then maybe we're in a very interesting dynamic there that we haven't predicted or we don't really foresee. I'm not really predicting that, though, to be honest. I think Joe Joyce, like you said, is just too slow. Like, he's just, in terms of being quick to the draw, right? Dubois is going to be able to catch him theoretically all night. And I do kind of see an early stoppage because of that. I see Dubois sort of coming on early and trying to mount aggressive pressure from the onset because he is the better athlete. He is the more powerful hitter, I think, technically speaking. And plus, I mean, even though Joyce has like the height and the reach, I don't think he will be able to really utilize it because he doesn't really utilize it anyways. So Dubois should win this one again within 6 rounds and kind of finish him, if not knock him out complete, like ice cold knock him out. I could see that happening. I think Joe Joyce kind of leaves his chin up there to be hit. To the point of, though, like Joe Joyce and like where what is he? Like, what's his legacy? Like, what's his sort of reputation right now? Like, what do we really like make of him? I think he's a clear top 20 heavyweight whose athleticism is going to always sort of stop him from being in the top 10. You know, like, it's going to be the inverse of a Bryant Jennings, where Bryant Jennings' power, right, his lack of size, his lack of strength, his lack of power, kept him out of the top 10, right? Bryant Jennings is a really good athlete with really good skills. It didn't matter because everyone's bigger and hits harder than him, right? Joe Joyce is bigger and hits as hard as anyone else, but he can't keep up with them. So I think that's going to be a massive issue for him just long term. And plus, he is in his mid-30s, so it's not like he's a young gun in the sport anymore. And I think, like Gary, I'm absolutely in agreement that Dubois is going to be the next guy in the division. All signs point to it. Unless like a Tony Yoka comes out of here and is able to like beat up everyone, which is a possibility, but it seems to be sort of the black horse in the division, right? Like it does, or the dark horse, I should say, in the division. It doesn't seem to be the likely outcome. Dubois seems to be the heir apparent to this current generation. Gary, any thoughts about how big this fight's going to be? I know, Rob's not here, and this is probably a better question for him. You think this one's going to be a big one?
I do. I mean, like, everyone seems to be excited. And I get it. It's a heavyweight scrap, right? Like, it's 2 heavyweight prospects, like 2 really highly touted heavyweight prospects. But it's like when Zion Williamson was picked number 1 and John Mont was picked number 2. It's like, Mont's good, but like, come on. Like, we all know. Or when LeBron James was picked 1 and Carmelo Anthony was picked 2. Was Anthony picked? No, it was Darko Milicic was picked 2. And then Carmelo Anthony, right? But it's like, there's good players in that draft, but like, we all know who the class is, right? And the class is Daniel Dubois. I'm not saying the other guys aren't good, right? But like, there's one guy who is levels ahead of everyone else. One guy's a wrecking ball, and the other guys are good fighters, but there's a major difference. How big is the fight? I think it's going to be a disappointment because of how one-sided it is. But I think as far as ratings goes, how many people watch it, how many people are into it. No, I think it does. It's big, and I think there are going to be people out there who are crazy enough to think that Joe Joyce is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there. I don't see anyone really in the chat picking him. Shout out to everyone in the chat right now. I don't see anyone picking Joe Joyce. If there's anyone out there that is picking Joe Joyce, I think Matthew D'Souza's picking him, right? You're saying Joe Joyce has power, the juggernaut or triumph, right? Isn't the juggernaut Joe Joyce?
Joe Joyce is this generation's Herbie Hyde.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He was a WBO heavyweight champ when the WBO was like
not real,
making its way up. De La Hoya got it, and that kind of gave it some. I think, yeah. But Herbie Hyde was the heavyweight, like 95, 97, 98, somewhere like in those years. He was a big British guy. Matthew
D'Souza, we know that would be better than the trash talk. That's for sure. These two guys, not meant to be behind the mic. Let's just be honest about it. What else is on the card, though? It's not a really great card from what I've looked at. Hamza Shiraz fighting Guido Nicolas Pito. Looks like he's Italian. I'm guessing by the name.
I don't know who that is, but let's go that guy. Me and Rob are starting a new rivalry to compete with Mexico, Puerto Rico. We're having Italy versus UK.
He's not Italian. Damn. God damn it, Argentinian.
He's probably Italian, Argentinian. There used to be more Italians in Argentina in Argentina than there was in the U.S. And this was all the way up until the 60s and 70s. Like Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Jack Catterall is fighting some guy. Yeah. This is a really bad card. Oh my God.
Frank Warren doesn't have anyone. These are the two guys that he has. Okay. And they're fighting each other.
How fast do we get a Crawford-Aram situation with Dubois and Frank Warren?
After this fight. I guess you could put him in with Yui Fury next, right? He's got Yui Fury, doesn't he?
No, didn't Eddie pick him up?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. So this is it. After this fight, you have that situation.
Yeah, Matthew D'Souza in the chat saying, Matt, check out Barry Hearn talking up Herbie Hyde somewhere on YouTube. It's hilarious. I will actually. If anyone can find the link, send it to me. I'll check out that shit. Yeah, there's not much to really talk about else on this card. Any other thoughts on Dubois? And
no, I mean we both see it ending in the first half of the fight. We'll say, right? Is it scheduled 10 or 12 rounder? It's 12, right?
Yeah, it's 12. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Ain't going that far, but yeah.
They have versions of belts like the WBO silver. No, sorry, WBC silver, WBO international, and then obviously the Commonwealth and the British Boxing Board controlled British title. All that. So stuff.
After this fight, Dubois is in a Terence Crawford position, right? Like where he can't get any fights because of his promoter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, other than like the semi relationship between Frank Warren and Bob Arum. So there's top rank heavyweights maybe that Dubois could face, right? Like this fight's gonna be on ESPN Plus, so there's already like a network affiliation in some fashion, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you see that. Bob Arum has Tyson Fury. Oscar Rivas is Oscar Rivas with top rank still, or no?
I would assume so. Oh, he could fight what's his name? He could fight the heavyweight. That fought Anthony Joshua. From Takam. Oh
yeah, you can fight Takam. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That'd probably be the perfect fight next for him. If I'm sort of his management, I would say fight Takam on ESPN or whatever, something like that, and do it on. You can do it in the UK, whatever, but have it be on ESPN. Actually, be on ESPN this time, not ESPN Plus. Give him some international exposure. Let's move on to the topic that I think Gary wants to talk about the most, which is Terence Crawford and Bob Arum. Let's do it. We can get to the other fights later on. I mean, where do we start here, Gary? Because this is just so fucking good. First, let's read some of the quotes here from Arum and Crawford. Arum talking to Pugmire via the Athletic podcast. The question is, quote, the question is, do we want to keep him? Said Arum with Pugmire. I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. A beautiful home. Nobody questions Crawford's innate tremendous ability by beating a naturally bigger guy and Brook decisively. That's a big statement that he's making. The question is, Does it pay the bills? Like, you're the greatest opera singer in the world. If the fans don't support it, you're out of business. He's got to promote like Lopez does. And that's so fucking funny because Lopez is like, dude, Lopez has 1/10 of the presence that Crawford has, right? Like,
Yeah, but at this age, I mean, yeah.
Come on. Okay, stop it. He's got to promote like Shakur Stevenson does. Like, what are you talking about? How does Shakur promote himself that great? He doesn't. Like Floyd Mayweather did, like Pacquiao did. Pacquiao promoted himself. What are we talking about, Aram? What edibles are you on? Because I want those edibles clearly. He ain't be the greatest fighter in the world, but hey, I ain't going bankrupt promoting him. Crawford, obviously, to Chris Mannix. It pissed me off because I'm one of the most loyal people. For him to say such foolish shit like that made me look at him a totally different way. And I would respond to Crawford like, really? This is the time where you're like, hey, maybe Aram isn't like the nicest guy in the world. Really, Crawford? A multi-millionaire that's been in boxing since the mafia? That this is your clue? Release me now, and you don't have to lose money no more. That's not my job on promoting. I'm not a promoter. When am I? A fighter. I get paid to fight. I don't get paid to promote. He gets paid to promote. He's supposed to promote me. So, I mean, there's some other quotes we'll get into. Obviously, Aram saying that he stands by all of these comments, saying, I don't give a shit. I don't care because what Crawford's camp did was reprehensible. The lawyer sent a letter to us. Okay, that's fine. That's what a lawyer does. But what's this in response to? What lawyer? When did Crawford? I mean, Tapron get a letter from Crawford's lawyer? Was that this like the week or two before the fight? Is that when I'm remembering?
I was hoping you were going to know because I didn't want to sound like an idiot. I don't know when lawyers got involved in this.
Wasn't there that report that came out like a week or two before the Brook fight about Crawford talking to Aram through a lawyer?
I don't even remember.
Am I misremembering that, people in the chat? Whatever it is, I mean, obviously it is spiraled out of control here. Gary, your thoughts on all of this?
Asking Terence Crawford to promote himself, wow, logical, right? Like, you're his promoter. What does he pay you for? It would if Terence Crawford said, I can make a lot more money if Bob Arum would go in the ring and fight for me. That would be a ridiculous thing to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is equally as ridiculous. He's the fighter. He fights. You're the promoter. You promote. Roy Jones Jr. said when he lost via disqualification to Montel Griffin, when he hit him when he was down,
Mm-hmm.
He went to his promoters and said, get me the rematch. And they said, okay. They went to HBO, and HBO was like, yeah, no one really thinks Montel Griffin was actually going to win that fight. We could get you a better payday. We could get a fight with better ratings. And Roy Jones was like, no, I want my green belt back. Make that fight. And he told his promoters, you go get me paid as much money as possible. That's the fight I want. And they made it happen. That's what a promoter does. The fighter tells you who he wants to fight, especially at this level, and you make it happen. And then you get me paid as much as you can. That's what you do. I mean, I don't understand this. He should promote himself thing. Okay, fuck. That's your job. Like, what do you do then? If he's supposed to promote himself, what's your job? Do you want to go fight for him? Because you're 90 years old. It just blows my mind that Bob Arum actually said he needs to promote himself. No, I'm the fighter. You're the promoter. You do your job. I do my job. You just said I knocked out a guy naturally bigger than me, a former world champ. So I'm obviously doing my job in spades. Okay? Now you do your job. If I'm not a star, that's your fault.
Yeah. I mean, I echo everything you're saying. And this isn't... I feel like we've been banging this drum for so long, to be honest. I feel like we're just repeating ourselves now at this point. The modern setup of promoters often allow them to offset a lot of the work on matchmakers within their promotional company, on other sort of people. Think of like Eric Gomez to Oscar De La Hoya. Think of, that sort of relationship, right? Todd DeBuff to Bob Arum, right? There's a lot of people that the modern day promoter offsets their work to, so where they don't have to actually do any labor and work. in promoting the fight. And obviously, I think managers have really risen in terms of power, in terms of that aspect of like actually going and getting the fight and getting the fighter to the most amount of money. That in essence is now like a managerial job, and the promoter, in essence, is just a figurehead for promotional tools and like media events. Like it's very weird what a promoter actually does nowadays, and like the major U.S. promotional companies, meaning Golden Boy and Top Rank, right? And I think it's been the writing on the wall for some time that these promoters are lazy. They have really no interest in building up stars. They want stars to fall in their lap and do all the work for them. And they themselves, I think, don't really view the promotional company as a vehicle to expanding the profit margins for fights or fighters. And I don't know if this was always the case, because obviously I've only lived in like the modern era, like the truly modern era of boxing of the last, 20, 30 years. And it seems to be like this has always been the case. And I don't know if there was a pre-era where this wasn't the case, where promoters actually promoted events and fights in a way, put these fighters and events in certain places and certain media spheres to really gain traction and gain exposure. That seems to no longer be like a goal of these promotional companies. It seems to be solely on the backs of these fighters to promote themselves. Even Teofimo Lopez, who Bob Arum claims is like a great sort of fighter now and is the next guy of the promotional company. Bob Arum and Top Rank aren't promoting Teofimo Lopez at all. They did at the very beginning in terms of just like pumping out a lot of content about him, but that slowed down drastically when there started to be some friction about contract disputes and how much money am I going to make for a Loma fight. Did anyone notice that? That all the posts about Lopez knocking out people and doing flips and Fortnite dancers stopped right when the negotiation dispute started? I wonder why. So these promoters do not have the interest of fighters in their mind or in their heart. Like they don't care about you. If you're a fighter right now listening and you have a promotional contract, get out of that as fast as possible. I'm sorry. Like sign 1 fight deals, or at the very most 3 fight deals with no additional clauses to it, or like championship clauses or anything like of that sort. Keep it minimal as much as possible. Get with a good manager, and that is just the new paradigm, unfortunately, until something drastically changes.
It does seem like that, not just for the premier fighters, not just the headliners, like the mid-card guys too, because the manager gets a cut of what you make, so he wants to keep you busy. Where as a promoter, like I got other guys, like I got other guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that seems to be the case. And I want to comment on what Crawford said, where he's the most loyal guy. He has stayed loyal to Bob Arum and Top Rank when everyone said he shouldn't have. When people said he should have went to PBC and he should have jumped, he stayed with Bob Arum. Like there's something to that. Like you don't get loyalty in the workplace on either side, employer or employee, in 2020. You don't get that, right? And Crawford was a loyal guy. He stayed there, and he knew it would have been more difficult to get the fights that he wanted than had he gone to PBC. But he stayed with it because he believed in Arum and he believed in what they were doing. And Arum probably gave him his first contract, right? His first big payday. So he stayed with them. And then Arum says this. I don't like Bob Arum, but like this is disgusting to me with Bob Arum. Like, you're the promoter. Go do your job. Like, he's literally standing around and blaming his fighter for doing his job and not doing my job. It's like this really kind of pisses me off a little bit.
I mean, hey, big business bosses, man. This is what they do. This is how they think. Bob Arum is like a robber baron, right? Like, but just that's how I view it. He's a robber baron of like the turn of the century, and just in today's time in boxing.
Do you know the 80-20 rule?
Explain that to me.
All right, so
I know what you mean.
In any company, 20% of the top 20% of your employees produce 80% of the company's revenue. Okay, Crawford's number 1 or 2 of that 20%, right? If anyone needs to be taken care of, it's that guy. And then you go out and say this about him, especially when the guy's been loyal to you and stayed with you, and everyone's like, "Why would you stay with him?" Like it's the lack of loyalty on Aaron's part, and then to go out there and say that about him. Like, he should have been apologized. When Lou DiBella couldn't get the fights for Regis, he said, "I'm sorry, Reg. No one will call me back. I'm trying everything I can. I can't get you a fight. I'll let you out of this contract. Let's part amicably." Right? That's what Lou DiBella said. Bob Arum does the complete opposite and acts like a scumbag.
That is a good juxtaposition with Lou and Regis. That was a pretty amicable split, especially in today's age, right? But I think also to sort of add this in, I was going to talk about it obviously with the Lopez Kambosos fight, but I think it's important to bring it up now. I mean, Arum is complaining about losing money on Crawford, who got paid what, $4 million for the fight. So that's his minimum, right? His minimum was $4 million, right? Not in a sexy division like welterweight, is now getting guarantees of $5 million. That's his minimum now from Top Rank. Dude, everyone knows on this show that, like, hey, I love Teofimo Lopez. I've been rooting for him for a long time. I thought he could beat Loma for a very long time. I've been right. Haha, you've been wrong. But he's not a star. Like,
they're betting he becomes one tomorrow. By the next time he fights.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, and not only a star, like a bigger star than they've had in a very, very long time. Like, this is like Pacquiao. Like pay-per-view numbers that they got back in like the 2010s, right? Like when Pacquiao and Canelo were on pay-per-view in like 2010 and 2015 or so, right? They got around 5 million guarantees for their pay-per-views, right? And Lopez didn't get that for TV fight.
Got that ESPN money. Got that Mickey Mouse money.
Dude, the ESPN Plus money, bro.
I guess ESPN Plus is done though, right? They're gonna put him on the main. I don't know, man. This is so much more. And if you're Terence Crawford, you're like, first of all, look at my ratings, right? Like, my ratings dwarf his, and I get 4. After all the service that I've been through, he wins 2 fights and gets 5.
To be fair, he's only had, I think, 2 main events. Maybe 3 with the Nakatini fight. That was probably a main event too.
Yeah.
I think only one of those have been on ESPN, so we can actually get metrics to look at. While Crawford has a long run on HBO, where we can look at a long run on ESPN. We can look at now. Like, he's been a champion for like 5 years. No, yeah, about 5, maybe 4 years. He's been a champion. And sorry, 5 or maybe 6 years he's been a champion. Crawford's been the guy at Top Rank for some time, okay? And the idea of, like, Arum losing money, he could have bought a house, he's losing his value on his net worth and all that bullshit on Crawford. But Lopez, totally cool. He can go fight George Kambosos in Australia and he's going to pay him $5 million at least for that fight. That's fine, though. That's not going to lose Arum any money. Just the cognitive dissonance at Top Rank.
It's personal, but Arum, I don't understand how it's personal with a guy who stayed loyal to you through all of this. Like, that's the part I don't understand. It's like when Jerry kept Jason Garrett. When Jason Garrett said, when everyone said that Jerry had fired Jason Garrett for years, and he stuck with him and stuck with him and stuck with him. If Jason Garrett would have came out and blasted Jerry Jones saying he's a horrible owner, it's like, dude, really? Like, I'm the only one believing you. Flip that. Crawford's the only one who's, I'm going to stick with Arum. Arum's done me right. Arum's got me in my break. I'm going to stick with Arum.
Dude, Arum has survived through Ali, through Pacquiao, through Mayweather. Like, he survived through them all, man. In his mind, he doesn't give a fuck about Crawford. Like honestly, think about it, Gary. In Arum's mind, Crawford is probably the lowest level star he's ever produced. In his mind. In terms of, like, the flagship carrier of the company and the generations he's had in boxing, he's thinking Crawford's the least of them. He's probably thinking, I don't need him. Like, I'm 90 years old right now. I'm going to die soon anyways. Crawford's sending me letters from his lawyer, so fuck that guy. Like, that's what he's thinking. He's an old man, angry, and he doesn't care about Crawford because in his mind, Crawford is not Ali. He's not Pacquiao. He's not Mayweather. So who cares?
Shouldn't he be chill like Willie Nelson? Shouldn't he just be happy right now, like Smella?
I mean, for every like old person that's like super chilled out, there's the old person yelling at the lawn, right? And I think Aram's the latter. If
Maybe
I had
more edibles, more edibles.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just sad. I think, and it's entirely predictable. Like I said at the very top of the topic, like we knew this was coming. At some point in Crawford's career, we knew this was going to happen. It was a matter of when, not if. Okay, it just happened now. It could have happened in 2017 before Crawford re-signed with ESPN. It didn't. It's happened now.
Good. So now Aram can get out of the contracts. You can stop losing money like Crawford said, and Crawford can go sign with PBC. We can go get Crawford versus Porter or Thurman first, and then Crawford versus Spence at the end of 2021. Perfect. Beautiful. Works out. Everyone's a winner. Crawford's a winner, Aram's a winner, and the fans are winners. Good.
Imagine if Crawford had signed with PBC in 2017. That's 3 years ago now, right, guys?
Yeah.
That's 3 years ago now. Imagine how many fights he would have had. So let's say 2 fights a year, right? So that's 6 fights.
He wouldn't have had to take that ridiculous mandatory because he could have just dropped the belt, right? Because he would have had other belts, right? So, yeah.
Hold on. So let's go back to fucking BoxRec. I hate BoxRec. I'm not a robot.
Like I don't understand why they're like so like it's like your bank account like or your credit report like they just monitor it like we gotta make sure you're you. I was like why? There's nothing secure on this thing. I'm just looking at Box's records. Like I don't get why you do this.
He re-signed right after the Ndongo fight, right, people? Am I correct?
I can't remember if it was. I think so.
Okay,
I think so.
I'll say that because that was his last fight in 2017, and that gives him a few months to re-sign with ESPN. So that would make sense. Okay. So after that, he fought Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, Mean Machine, and Kell Brook. That's his run in that new deal with ESPN and Top Rank. Imagine the names he would have fought instead of those if he had signed with PBC and with Heyman. We would have Thurman in there, Porter in there, Danny Garcia in there, and Spence in there.
Yeah, they would have given him a step-up fight to 147, like an intro fight, maybe like Peterson or whoever was there at that time, right?
Yeah.
Then they would have thrown one of the big names. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have went right into it.
And we still have people like Liam Roscoe, who's probably listening still. Liam, shout out to you, Liam. He was like, "Oh no, but Terence Crawford should just stay with Top Rank, and Top Rank should just work with Al Heyman. It'll just be perfect, everyone. Kumbaya." Bob Arum's an old bitter man. That's why that shit was never going to work. Someone in the chat saying, can you repeat those fights that you mentioned for the end of 2021? 2020, I think is what you mean. Yes, I can repeat that. That's fine. So from after he re-signed with ESPN, he fought Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, Mean Machine, so Kavalauskas, and then Kell Brook. So 5 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Math is hard.
He's only fought once this year.
Liam saying, why do we need Thurman or Porter first? Liam, why do we need Jeff Horn, Benavidez, Amir Khan, Mean Machine, and Kell Brook first? Huh, Liam? Why do we need those fights first? Huh? Why? Because that's what you're comparing it to. You're comparing it not to this like mythological thing. You're comparing it to like what really happened. What really happened is bullshit after bullshit after bullshit and pay-per-views too. We got an American pay-per-view in that bullshit. Okay. William Phillips in the chat. T.O. appears to be the future and can get the opponents. Crawford is locked out of the division and Aram can't do much with him. Time for the divorce. I completely disagree with this take. One, T.O. is the future and can get opponents, but those opponents are who? George Kambosos?
Well, at 35, you would think you have Ryan Garcia.
Oh, time out.
Which is
okay. Why do we always predict that like Bob Arum and like Eddie Hearn or Oscar De La Hoya will just get along swimmingly?
Of course not. I was just gonna say he couldn't work cross promotionally for Terence Crawford. What makes you think he's gonna be able to do it for Teofimo Lopez? Like Haney or Garcia or Tank Davis, you can forget because he couldn't get Crawford a fight with a PBC guy. How's he gonna get Teofimo a fight with it?
We think Bob Arum, the guy that requested the franchise belt to not fight Devin Haney, to not make a cross promotional fight, is the same guy that's going to just willingly make Lopez versus Devin Haney. Like, come on, William. Come on here. Bob Arum is an inept promoter. That is the lesson of this story that people, I think, need to understand. It's not about, we just need these fighters to make the deals. No, when you have an inept businessman like Bob Arum, who's just, I think, to be honest, sailing on the decades of experience he has, I just think that's the only reason he's still relevant is because he's been around for so long. That is why we can't get these fights. It's because of ego trips by these big business tycoons. It's these dick measuring contests by these promoters. That's why the fights don't happen. Nothing to do with the fighters. Nothing. Well, at least Jeff Horn was a title.
Fine. Like, it's not the Horn fight we're complaining about. It's everything after the Horn fight, which is what we're complaining about.
It's not even everything after. It's the entirety of it. The entirety of Crawford's legacy at 147 is irrelevant. Okay? That was a choice. Why? Because they wanted a dick measuring contest with PBC. That's why. They wanted to act like the A side with all those names when they're the B side with all those names. That's why. Just like Aaron wanted a dick measuring contest with Eddie Hearn and DAZN and said, you guys will never get this belt. Franchise this shit at 135. That's why. Come on, man. Come on. It's ridiculous. Anyways, any other thoughts, Gary, on Crawford?
No. That's I think we covered that pretty well.
We did. Look at us. What else? Should we get into news or fights, Gary? We kind of did both. What do you want to do?
Well, it's not a great fight, a week of fights, so let's do news first. I mean, we did the one fight that, don't you want to save Jacobs, Rosado to the end?
Yeah. I guessed, right? Save that.
And then Primetime's fight is postponed to December 12th. I don't know why. Chris Colbert was supposed to fight originally this week, but that's changed now till the 12th.
Wasn't that a visa issue or something?
I don't know why. I guess.
I think it was a visa issue. I could be wrong about that. Triple G and DAZN are working on a revised contract ahead of his December return against Camille Zemureta, which is his mandatory. This was completely to be expected, and I think even predicted when the initial Canelo and DAZN news came out that Golovkin and DAZN were most likely going to be restructuring their deal because it came out that Golden Boy and DAZN were restructuring their deal. I wonder if Triple G is going to keep getting like the $10 million and like the equity, or was it $15 million in equity in the company? It was like a monster.
It was so much money.
What are you thinking here, Gary? What's going to happen?
See, I don't understand the point of a contract anymore. Like, if I was him, I don't care that I'm not getting it. Well, I mean, I want a Triple G fight because if I'm Triple G, I think I can beat Canelo, so I want that fight. But as far as my contract goes, I want the same amount of money. That was the purpose of the contract, right? Like, if you can't deliver me a Canelo fight, that's fine. I'll just take whatever you can get me, but you're going to pay me what we discussed. The reason why you can't get me a Canelo fight is your fault, not mine. So I'm not taking any less money. If you want to pay me more money and I'll take less interest in the company, I'll do that. But I'm not going to take less money. I'm not going to take less money. So,
and I'll be honest, if you're Triple G, you're looking at DAZN saying, you just made a fight with Canelo anyways. Why would you need to restructure my deal? You can still get that fight for me.
We don't need to.
Like,
right? And this is it for Triple G. He's not getting another contract after this. This is it, right? So, like Steve Nash said, when Steve Nash was injured with the Lakers, they asked him if he was going to play next year. He's like, I got $11 million guaranteed. I'm gonna play next year, right? Like Triple G's like, no, I'm gonna get my money. Like, This is it. Like, I'm not getting another big contract after this. So, no, I'm going to get every dime.
Yeah, poor Triple G, man. He's going to get fucked around. We know it. It's going to happen.
I don't feel bad. He's such a hype job, though. He made a lot of money from being overrated. I'm not saying he's bad. He's really good. And he's got a good resume. But he got Canelo money times 2. He got a lot of big paydays for not being that big of a draw and not being that great of a middleweight. Like, he got really big bucks for not really ever beating anyone that would want that. Danny Jacobs beat him.
Agreed. Hold on. Rubisky's saying Chris Colbert is a hype job. That's just inaccurate.
Go watch Chris Colbert, bro.
He's beat top 10 competition. Like, how can you say he's a hype job?
He's not a hype job, bro. That guy is good.
That's just crazy. Liam wanting to fight about Terence Crawford. You know me. I always give into these fights. I can always get triggered by this shit. Gary, yeah, you know me, right? I can get triggered by arguments all the time. Saying full of contradiction today, Matt. I'm curious, where did I contradict myself? I'm very curious about that. Crawford should fight one fight deals with, like you said, that's what Liam says, one fight with deal with PBC to fight Spence. Look, if PBC wants to give him one fight deal to fight Spence, that's completely fine. But right now, Spence is busy, so go fight someone else. That would probably be the response. I don't think that's a contradiction either for me to say that. You know,
Matt did say one fight, definitely no more than 3, is what Matt said.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was talking about like a 2-fight deal, like go fight either Porter or Thurman next, and then should you win that fight, then go fight Spence. So I mean, yeah.
People also I feel like are in this weird place where they completely forget about the Andre Ward Kovalev deal that existed, where they both agreed to fight interim fights within the contract before they fought each other. Right, and it was 2 interim fights, right? Because you had him.
It was 2 for Ward. I know that. I don't know if I guess Kovalev fought 2 also.
Because Kovalev fought Pascal and someone else, right? And then Ward fought Sullivan Barrera and one of the Smith brothers. What was his name?
Paul Smith.
Paul Smith, the Fat Smith. Yes.
It's the lowest level of Smith right there.
Lowest level. I mean, that happened, guys. No one was up in arms like, this is ridiculous. They need to be fighting right now. Everyone was super cool with that concept.
Well, Ward was coming off that 1.5-year layoff too.
No, of course, yeah. Right? But even beside that, we're thinking
absolutely
they're signed to fight each other eventually. It's cool. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. There's a signed contract where they're fighting at the end of these 2 nights, which we all think they're going to win, right? Like, why is the concept of Crawford signing a 2-fight deal with PBC or Al Heyman and fighting Porter than Spence like so triggering to people within the boxing community? Why does that upset people so much when that has actually been like, that concept has been utilized for big fights over and over and over again? Actually, like, this isn't a new concept here. Like, we're not creating a new theory of economics here for boxing. This shit has been done time and time again within our lifetime, within the last 5-10 years.
It's been done, yeah. Remember when De La Hoya was signed to fight Whitaker? He was sitting ringside, and Whitaker just had to beat Diablos Hurtado, and then he got knocked down 5 seconds into the fight, and then didn't really throw any punches until like whatever round it was, the 10th. And then Dubois was like, you got to knock him out. Like, I don't know if you're losing, but you haven't thrown any punches yet. So then Whitaker just went in and knocked him out. But like, that happens, right? And De La Hoya's like, this is my payday. You got to win. No one wants to see me fight Hurtado. And then, but that fight, my point was that fight was already signed.
No, yeah.
Was Tyson Holyfield signed when Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas? Might have been.
No. It was not signed.
Okay.
Negotiations, I believe, but it was not signed. We're basically saying Chris Colbert would be a poor man's Robert Easter Jr.
What is he talking about? That's not even like a reasonable comparison.
What? They don't fight anything alike. That'd be like me saying, Shakur Stevenson is a poor man's Ruslan Provodnikov.
The comparison, like the name, I wish we had Skype on again so he could explain. Like, maybe we're missing something. Why Robert Easter?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Liam saying, because we want undisputed. I don't know how that still makes me contradicting myself. Why are you trying to put Porter in front of Spence? because I want to see Crawford versus Porter. I mean, is that preposterous to say?
No.
I want to see Crawford versus Porter. Like, part of me is actually a little bit more intrigued by that matchup than Crawford Spence, to be honest. Like, I'll just be like, the style of matchup between Porter and Crawford is far more intriguing than Crawford and Spence. Crawford has
Chris Colbert to Robert is still like blowing my mind. It's like we were just talking about John Mont, the basketball player. If I said John Mont's really good, he's the next Hakeem Olajuwon. It's like one guy's a point guard. What the heck are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make any. The comparison just doesn't make any sense. Like, they don't fight anything alike at all. There's no similar. Like, I need you to explain that. I need you to explain why you said Robert Easter as opposed to some other name that would have. If you would have said he's the next Paulie Malignaggi, okay, I would disagree with you, but at least we're talking about the same kind of boxer, right? Like,
he's
the
saying
Robert Easter thing made no sense.
Verbisky responded, "I'm talking about career-wise. I don't even understand that comparison right now, because I mean, Chris Colbert's in a really good division right now at 130, which has a lot of great talent. He's still a very young guy that is already in the top 10. Like,
Chris Colbert beats Jamel Herring and Carl Frampton today. Right now, he beats both of those guys.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, he's a better boxer and technician than Jamel Herring.
He also beats Oscar Valdez.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean,
I knew you agree with that one.
that goes without saying. I mean, come on. I mean, he beat what's his name? Was Jezreel Corrales?
Yeah, destroyed him.
I mean, I don't know about destroying, but I mean, because like that's not really his style, right? But
outclassed him. Is that better?
Yeah, put a clinic on him.
Yeah, there you go.
Jezreel Corrales had no success in that fight, and Jezreel Corrales was a really fucking highly touted guy. So I don't know about that. I don't know. I think it's a wait and see with Chris Colbert to see like what his career will be. But the guy is absolutely passing the eye test right now. He definitely gives me that Shakur Stevenson vibe. Like, he's going to be that guy where he's not going to blow out people in the way that, like, from a knockout perspective, from a power perspective, but he's going to make people look like they just don't belong. You know, that's how he's going to be.
His last three fights are Alberto Mercado, Miguel Beltran, and Jezreel Corrales. Like, they progressively get better, and he's got unanimous decision 80-72, first round knockout, and then unanimous decision 117-110. Like, I mean, the guy's been dominant, right? Like,
Verbisky says Shakur beats him. Dude, Shakur hasn't beat a single person in the top 15.
Okay, let's say that's true. Fine. But look how good Shakur Stevenson is. Like, okay, maybe. Who knows? Shakur Stevenson's excellent.
He said Tank beats him, which, I mean, fine. And he said Miguel Berchelt beats him. All right.
But look at the name you're putting him up with there.
Verbisky, remember like the division at 135 and Robert Easter was a champion? Jorge Linares was like the guy. Like, let's put that in comparison here. Jorge Linares, Robert Easter Jr., and like who else was the guy at that time? At 135, Anthony Crolla.
I mean,
that was a very weak point in the division. Like, Mikey,
it was real bad. Yeah.
Until Mikey Garcia came back, it was a very weak division. Loma wasn't involved, right? It just wasn't like 130. 130 is a stacked division, like kind of like 154, where it's not a star-stud division, but the top 10, it's really all good. Quality. It's all quality. And Chris Colbert's a very young prospect / contender that's already vastly more proven than Shakur Stevenson. Like, that's just a reality right now.
Which is weird, right? Because they're from the same place. They're about the same age, right? Shakur Stevenson, well, no, Chris Colbert, like, I felt was really hyped for a while, too. But then, like...
You got the Netflix documentary, huh?
Yeah. So, but, like, I feel like they put more hype into Shakur Stevenson, and Chris Colbert has the better resume. Like, that's not a knock on Shakur Stevenson. I don't know who I would pick if they fought tomorrow. But, like, Colbert's got the better resume. Like, that's just a matter of fact.
We might get into a position where they're the guys at 130 in, like, a year or two. Like, that's completely feasible. Like, let's say Shakur outboxes Miguel Pichel, right, and establishes himself. Then we get Chris Colbert fighting a Jamal Herring or a
Carl Frampton, whoever wins. So Herring.
Herring.
And he's better than Herring, right? Like I like Herring. If you would have said Chris Colbert's the next Jamel Herring, I would have said I disagree, but I get the comparison. I don't understand the Robert Easter thing. Like,
Dude,
I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I'm just if I said John Mott's the next Shaquille O'Neal, it's like, well,
Rabisky in the chat saying, I don't see it, but in a few years we will see. Also, hold on. I like how he groups these people with Chris Colbert. Joey Spencer and Josh Kelly are hype jobs.
I tell you right now, Chris Colbert's 130, Spencer's 160, and what was the other?
Colbert. I picked Colbert.
Josh Kelly's 147. Colbert beats both of them in the same day.
Same night. Oh my God. So good. So good. Somebody saying Shakur is so hyped. I mean, he is so hyped. I don't think he's overhyped, though, to be honest. I just think he's not proven yet. That's just the reality. He just needs to fight, quality competition, which he should be, fighting soon. Like Toka Conclair is not a bad step up, right? In the sense, that's who he's fighting next, right?
It's fine. Toka Conclair is fine, but there shouldn't be any more step ups. He should be fighting the best guys out there. He's got a world title now, right? It shouldn't be like you win a world title and then take a step up fight.
But here's the reality: all the guys you want to face are just busy.
That's fine. That's true.
That's just the reality, right? Like there's 4 guys that he could fight that are at the top within his promotional company, and they're all fighting each other, not him. Right?
I agree.
What else? Any other hot takes from the chat right here we need to address? Liam Rosso, Crawford versus Porter can happen after Crawford versus Spence, win or lose. It doesn't have to. It can happen before. Like you said, it can happen after. It can happen before. It's okay.
What if Garcia wins? Like, I'm not picking that.
Stop. I don't need that for my soul.
But what if it's not out of the, like, it's not like an unrealistic thing, right? Like, it's not ridiculous to fathom Danny Garcia wins that fight.
First off, it is when you see how, in shape Spence is right now. That dude is on all the good stuff. Like,
I'm picking Spence. Obviously, I'm picking Spence, right? But I'm saying Danny Garcia is not, what was the name of the guy that the Mexican guy that was the mandatory? Carlos Ocampo. Danny Garcia is not Carlos Ocampo. Okay, Danny Garcia is a borderline Hall of Fame fighter. Danny Garcia probably isn't going to win. I'm not going to pick him, but like it's not absurd to think that Danny Garcia could win that fight.
No, it's not absurd at all. Jay Pryor is saying that Jezreel Corrales wasn't top 10. I'm sorry, sir. What?
He was definitely top 10. He's former world champion. How is he not? And not just like Jezreel Corrales was the goods. He just got a little chinny. But Jezreel, I thought Jezreel Corrales was really good. Like I know he didn't have any knockouts, but he seemed to have a little pop. And then he had all world athleticism. He was a slickster in there. He just like kind of had like the Gamboa thing where you just pop him and he goes down. But Corrales is good, man. Like if Corrales comes back, I still think he can. I don't know if he'll ever win a world title again because that division's real tough. But Corrales is good.
Corrales is probably in the top 15 right now. Still, I would still put him there, even with his 3 losses. It's Ladarius Miller beat him. Yeah, Ladarius Miller is also in the top 10 right now, probably. Like I would put Ladarius Miller and Chris Colbert at like 9 and 10 right now. I don't think that's preposterous. Actually, no. Ladarius Miller just lost to Michael Rivera. Michael Rivera is probably at number 10 right now. Michael Rivera, sorry. Like that's 130. 130, like that, like number 7 to number 12 spot. That's a rotating sort of position. So I don't see the issue, Jay. Come on. I feel like that's nitpicking here. Anyways, let's go move on. Tifon Lopez, George Kambosos is most likely happening next spring in Australia. Gary, your thoughts?
I'm not really that into it. Lopez destroys him. Look, Kambosos won the fight that he had to win against Lee Selby. I picked Selby. It was a close fight. Kambosos did not look good in it. There's some controversy. I don't have any problem with him getting the decision. Like, it was really close, but it was not a good fight. It was not an impressive performance by Kambosos. There was nothing in that performance that makes me think he can compete with Teofimo Lopez. That fight, Lopez doesn't have to worry about the scorecards because obviously Lopez is going to get rid of him fairly quickly the first half of that fight. So it's not that. I mean, I knew this fight was coming, right? Just like I knew a new way Maloney was coming. So I knew this fight was going to happen. So it is what it is. Lopez destroys him. I'm not high on Kambosos. And that last performance against Selby did nothing to change my mind.
Absolutely agree. That Lee Selby fight was underwhelming, to be quite honest. And again, just to reiterate, shout out to Bob Arum having to pay Teofimo Lopez $5 million minimum now, as Teofimo Lopez will shoot for $20 million minimum.
If he could have bought a house in Malibu for the money that Crawford lost him, wait till he sees the house he can buy for the money that deal loses him. Jeez.
And only because, to be honest, it's not because Teofimo Lopez isn't the goods, and it's not because 135 doesn't have some really good fights you can make money on, obviously. But it's because Top Rank has not done the right groundwork to build up Teofimo Lopez as a future star or a current star, right? Like he should have been in a position where when he beat Lomachenko, that would be a catapult to superstardom. It's not that. Like how many followers does he even have? He still has less than 100,000 followers on Twitter.
Jeez.
Like I'm like just being honest here, people. Like come on.
He's got less than 100,000.
He has less than 70,000.
Boy, that's not good. Really?
Hey, this is your future star. And just for comparison, if we want, let's do it. Even this is a little bit name redacted.
Spencer Dinwiddie, backup guard on the Nets, has 100,000. Just put that in perspective. Just compare it to sports. Like a backup guard has 50% more followers than
Terence Crawford has almost 200,000. Lomachenko. Oh, I spelled Lomachenko wrong. Damn it. Damn me. Evan the Carrot saying Top Rank hasn't built fighters in years. And that's absolutely true. You're absolutely right about that. About 200,000 followers. Yep. Where's this big, massive meteoric rise for Teofimo Lopez? It hasn't happened yet because they haven't done the work. It's just that simple. It's just like that is the unfortunate reality. Jay in the chat saying, hold on. Cobra has beaten people, but I just don't know about top 10. Well, let's look at the top 10 right now. We can do that. Hold on. Go to super featherweight. See what the top 10 is. Miguel Burchelt, number 1. This on BoxRec. Gary, you following me here?
Yes.
Okay. Miguel Burchelt, number 1. Number 2, Joseph Diaz. I actually like the pick of Joseph Diaz, number 2. That's actually like kind of a hipster pick there from BoxRec. I like that. Tevin Farmer at number 3. That's unrealistic, probably. Oscar Valdez at number 4. Oh my God.
BoxRec just like some people. Like they just like.
Oh, this is so good. I gotta get up on the actual main computer now. This is so good. I have it on my side computer. Hold on. Shafistan Rakimov. He's at number 5. Gary.
Hey, look, it's their list, man. I know they have a point system. Sometimes I feel like that's quarterback rating. Like maybe you need to tweak that algorithm, however you arrive at that number, because look, there's a glitch in it.
Gary. Hold on, I froze up. Are you there? Hi.
Let me refresh it.
I'm back.
Okay.
No, it's me. I'm trying to open up a page. That's why it's doing it.
All right. Let me give a shout out to Jerry Salinas, who just texted me, hit me up on Facebook and said he's listening. Shout out to you.
Let me pull it up right here. Sorry, guys. My computer is so slow. I'm using my backup computer for the shows nowadays. My main computer's almost in the grave.
It got COVID. Yeah.
It did. Yes. Fuck. All right. I'm just gonna stop doing that because maybe I just shouldn't get up on the main page. Oh well. Moving on. Number 6, Leo Santa Cruz. Number 7, Carl Frampton. Number 8, Rene Alvarado. Number 9, Jamal Herring. Number 10, Andrew Cancio. Number 11, Muhammadu Iagubov. Obviously, if I mispronounce any names, apologies. Number 12, Oshik Foster.
Oshaki Foster.
How the hell is he above Chris Colbert?
Because he just beat Mickey Roman, and Mickey Roman's got a bunch of wins. All right, so that's the glitch in the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you beat Lennox Lewis 50 years later, you're still ranked in the top 15 by BoxRec. You know what I'm saying? Like Oliver McCall.
Now, obviously, BoxRec is not including Shakur Stevenson in this list for some reason, because I think they're probably still ranking him at 126. And Gervonta Davis isn't listed in this, obviously, because he recently fought at 135. So let's try and make our own list right now, Gary. Number 1, who do you put? Miguel Burchelt?
Yeah,
right?
Burchelt.
Number 2, who do you put?
I'm fine with Jojo Diaz as number 2.
Okay. Number 3?
Herring. Oh, well, you were putting then I want to put Davis at 2 and Jojo Diaz at 3.
Okay. And then number 4?
Santa Cruz.
Okay. Number 5?
Jamal Herring.
Okay. Number 6? Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez, Tevin Farmer, Carl Frampton.
So I was getting nitpicky at those, right? Because Stevenson doesn't have the resume, and the other guys aren't that good. So
Rene Alvarado, I think he's.
I'll go Shakur Stevenson 6.
Okay.
And then Alvarado 7, Frampton 8. Okay, Tevin Farmer's going to go in the top 10. So I don't know if I want him at 9 or 10, but he makes the list.
10 Farmer at 9, and then Chris Colbert at 10.
I'd flip those two.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I would flip obviously Alvarado and Shakur Stevenson as well, to be honest. Alvarado just beat Andrew Cancio. Like he's been on a run lately. I'd probably put him above some people just due to what he's done in the division right now. So I think we just laid out right there how you can easily, even including names that aren't included in BoxRec that are not in the division ranked right now, but they should be, and better fighters than Chris Colbert, how we can still get Chris Colbert in the top 10. So Jay in the chat, let us know. Is that some bullshit? Come on. See, Chris Colbert can be in the top 10. It's not that hard. Moving on. Fortuna and Haney looks like it's going to be made, as Fortuna is requesting the fight from the WBC. Gary, thoughts on this fight happening?
It's good. I mean, Haney's way too sharp and way too skilled for him. Fortuna's last performance was very Fortuna-esque. You know, he can beat up on that level of guys, but against guys who are sharp, he's too wild and too wide. Doesn't throw anything straight. Like, he's going to get picked apart by Haney. Yeah, but maybe the chance that he has the path to victory for Fortuna is that he catches him and wears him out and takes him into deep waters, because we've never really seen Haney tested that much. But I don't really see that happening. Haney looks sharp, you know. So I think Haney kind of has his way with him unless Fortuna can rough him up a little bit, which I'm not predicting to happen.
I mean, there's always that aspect of like Fortuna being like the wily veteran and like playing spoiler. And I don't think Haney really looked that great against Gamboa, to be honest. I thought Gamboa had a lot of success when he shouldn't have, to be quite honest. I really don't know where to rank Haney. This is one of those fights where it could be a trap fight and Haney could really not necessarily lose the fight, but look poor in. Absolutely poor in. So I don't really want to predict this fight right now. I want to go back and watch some more Fortuna fights and sort of refresh my memory on what he does well and how he could utilize that against Devin Haney. I think Haney should be the favorite, but that's largely just due to like hype in a way, like eye test. Though I don't think he passes the eye test as great as some people want to claim. other bits in the news, Julian J. Rock Williams most likely is fighting Dennis Hogan in his return fight.
Good for Hogan. Get another payday. Good for you.
God damn it. Poor Dennis.
Good for Hogan. What? It's
Dude,
fine. He just got brutally knocked out. He can't fight a Dennis Hogan?
I mean, Dennis Hogan just got brutally knocked out. Should he be fighting? DJ Wally West, which is also, by the way, a great name in the chat, saying what success did Gamboa had. Gamboa was landing shots down the stretch. And also, if we're being quite honest, Haney was seemingly intimidated by Gamboa's mere presence. Like, Haney never pressed on the gas at all. He wanted to stay on the outside and avoid all danger. I mean, Gamboa looked far more competitive in there coming off of a Achilles tendon rupture and surgery and a knockout loss, than I think he should have. I think that is quite clear, people, right? Like, I mean, we talked about that fight when it happened. Go check our review show on that. But, Gary, I mean, Gamboa had success in there with Haney. I'm not saying he won rounds per se, but he had success. He was able to land shots on Haney.
Yeah, he landed shots. He did. He does throw shots down the pipe. To me, Fortuna is like the 130-pound, 135-pound, whatever weight class he's fighting in that day. Arthur Abraham, like, come on, man, throw something down the pipe. Like, not every, or Jean Pascal. And Pascal's had a good career, but like, can you throw something straight, please? Like, please throw something down. Not everything can be wide. No, I mean, Gamboa, I think I had him score one round for him. Maybe you could argue he won a second round, but he landed some shots. Wasn't like a complete Mayweather-esque performance where you shut the other guy out completely and they mount no offense. Gamboa had some moments in there.
And it was also just like a tepid performance from Haney.
I absolutely agree. There was no motivation. I thought he was going to come out guns blazing, considering what T.O. did and what Tank Davis did, and he didn't. It was.
Yeah, this isn't true, DJ Wally West. When you say that Haney was trying to get the KO at the end,
it was not true at all.
No, I don't know what fight you were watching. Like Kevin the Carrot says, Haney has no killer instinct. None.
That's a good name too.
There's been some good names lately.
Yeah.
Today. Shout out to everyone. Haney has a lot of talent. I just don't think overall the tactical awareness and the strategic awareness is there yet. And that'll come a time, hopefully. The guy's still like 21 years old. Like, I'm okay with giving him some years. I don't think he wants to give himself time. I don't think his promoters and handlers want to give him time, but he absolutely needs some time. A couple of last pieces of news. Julio Cesar Martinez. Wow. Fighting on the Canelo Smith undercard, and also the Andrade fight is off. He's supposed to fight
Aaron Hernandez. Dusty Harrison Hernandez.
That's right.
They kind of look alike, don't they? They look a little bit alike, and then they're both named Hernandez.
I could care less about the Andrade fight, I'll be honest.
I want to see Andrade fight. I mean, I want to see him fight for 3 rounds, and then the next 9 rounds are just going to be boring. But, like, Andrade's a good fighter. Like, I want to see him back in the ring. He's going to knock him down twice in the first 3 rounds, and he's going to be like, oh, well, I didn't get him out. I'll just do this for 9 rounds.
So frustrated. God damn it. Moving on to fights this weekend. Daniel Jacobs fighting Gabriel Rosado in Florida on DAZN. I'm assuming, though, it's not listed on BoxRec as DAZN, but that's Jacobs and Matchroom USA. I'm assuming it's obviously a DAZN fight. Emmanuel Tagoe versus Mason Menard also on the card. I actually kind of like that fight, to be honest. Daenerys Lusinov versus Julius Ndongo. I actually like that fight a lot, to be honest.
Let's go Ndongo. He's going to get one for me. He's going to win a fight for me. He's going to do it. I'm going down with that ship. Him, Josh Greer, everybody. When I pick a guy, or I say he's good, he's going to prove me right at some point. Victor Postal, those guys are going to win a fight for me.
Jay Prodigy in the chat saying Dubois Joyce. I'm sorry, Jay. We talked about that at the very top of the show. So if you came late to the show, we talked about Dubois Joyce at the very beginning of the show. So just rewind it. I apologize, Jay. White Chocolate Nikita Bobby is on the card as well. Fighting a guy named Brandon Maddox. Don't know who he is. And then Muhammad Draw Madridov versus Serhat Delgado. Both undefeated fighters. I don't know either one of them. That could be interesting. I actually kind of like this card, to be honest. I know I was kind of hating on the Jacobs Rosado fight because I absolutely hate that fight. I think it's ridiculous that we're having that fight in 2020. But I like the undercard. There's some.
Would have been great in 2013.
That is so sad. That's that long ago. Gary, thoughts on any of the fights from the top to bottom?
The undercard fights are good. There's some competitive fights there. I'm looking forward to seeing Nikita Bobby because he either looks sensational or blah. So I'm wondering which one shows up. And then like the main event, the Danny Jacobs fight, like it'll be, I guess, entertaining for a while. I think Gabe will land some shots, but ultimately be beaten up brutally over. Does it go to the distance? No, Jacobs gets him out, right?
Yeah,
Gabe is tough, right? Like Gabe can take a beating, man. Yeah, he did. I'd say that he busts his face up and they stop it after about 9 rounds. But like he's game. Like Gabe is game. He's like Jason Sosa, another Philly guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jason Sosa will sit there and he'll take it.
Yeah, out of
better or for worse.
Out of his 12 losses, he's only been stopped. He's only been stopped in 4 of them, people. Okay, it's all right.
It's tough.
Scott Brown in the chat saying, "What about Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul? Is that this weekend?"
It's on the Roy Jones card.
Oh,
isn't it?
We gotta talk about that too, don't we? We'll get to that later. Hold on, we'll get to that. Let's talk about the Lusanov Julius Ndongo fight for a second. Even though like that's a largely insignificant fight in the grand scheme of things, but I love the matchup. Lusanov is one of those guys who has kind of like Nikita Bobby, like your description of him. There's times he's really impressed, and there's times where he's been blah. He's been a guy that has obviously a great amateur career has done nothing in his professional career. I mean, has fought no one of note. This is his giant step up in this 10th fight. And Ndongo's one of the people who has some good wins against Ricky Burns, I think is a quality win. But largely speaking, came onto the scene, picked up a title against an unknown, undefeated Russian fighter, and then got beat up by Crawford and Prograis. Like that's what he's known for. But he does have experience. He has a quality win against Ricky Burns. So now we get to see how good Lusanov is. I'm predicting Lusanov actually beats Ndongo here and actually picks up a late fight finish. I think Ndongo is going to have trouble keeping Lusanov at the end of his jab. I think Lusanov is not going to just sit there and stay with Ndongo on the outside. I think he's going to want to get in on the inside, engage to the body of Ndongo, which Lusanov actually has some really good body work in his career already that he's shown us. And I think we're going to see Lusanov actually like perform quite well and have a semi-breakout performance. I don't think Lusanov is going to be like a top 5 or 10 guy at 147. I don't predict that. That's just preposterous to think that at this point in time. He clearly is not that caliber. But he could be like a Jamal James. He could be like a very poor man's version. Gary. Gary. He left. I think it's my end, to be honest. So I'm going to refresh too once Gary comes back. Gary, I see you. I'm going to refresh too, okay? So everyone just hold on like 1 second. Hello.
Yes.
Hi. We are back. I'm sorry, everyone. As I was saying, I think Ilusanov is going to have a semi-breakout performance. Again, we're not going to think he's going to be the next guy, but we can absolutely see that he's going to be a top 20-ish level guy in the division.
Yellen Usanov beat Rashard Hicks. 2 quick Hicks. That's my guy.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
So I guess I gotta roll with them, right? I guess I'll take Yellen Usanov. I don't know how much is left in the tank for Ndongo. So I'll take Yellen Usanov by stoppage. Ndongo's been stopped brutally
Dude,
a couple of times.
Ndongo's 37 years old, too.
Yeah. So I'll take Yellen Usanov by 7th, 8th round knockout, something like that. He'll stop him.
Damn. That's sad, isn't it, Gary, to predict that? That hurts you a little bit.
A little bit, because, it's like Ndongo. I thought Ndongo was going to be really unified half the belts at 140. A good fighter. And then now he gets blown out by everyone. I picked him to beat Prograis. Like, it just. Although I don't feel like that's a bit of a pick, because no one, like, Prograis had beaten some guys on Showbox and stuff, and yeah, he was a good prospect who looked good, but he never fought anyone really at that point.
Yeah, but dude, Ndongo's coming off of like a second round KO loss.
Like Terence Crawford. Like, okay, Crawford beat you. Like it's like
Dude, how many people has Crawford knocked out within 3 rounds?
That was a beatdown too, right? He beat the hell out of him. Was it the second or third round? I remember it was just being bad.
It was the 3rd round.
It was the 3rd round. And he clobbered him in the first 2 rounds and then stopped him with a body shot in the 3rd.
And he came back what was it? About 6 months later and fought Regis Prograis.
He got destroyed bad by Prograis.
Yeah.
Oh, Prograis knocked him down. Remember that first knockdown, which I can't believe he got up from. Prograis hit him so hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Yellen Usanov looks like a good prospect. I don't know how much is left in Ndongo.
I'm also picking Emmanuel Tagoe versus Mason Menard. I've always liked Emmanuel Tagoe. I don't think he's like going to be a world beater, but he's a quality sort of international fighter that really hasn't had any shine on the sort of high level world level stage. And like Gary said, Jacob should win down the stretch.
Tagoe should beat up. Tagoe is the prospect that people say, like, if he's a good prospect, he should beat up on Mason Menard. Like, no disrespect to Mason Menard, but Menard's one of the guys with a decent record. He's got 20-something wins, a couple losses, who you should beat up on.
And all of his losses are by KO. Like, Devin Haney knocked him out, too. Like, if you're a good prospect, you should be able to knock out Mason Menard.
Beltran knocked him out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. All 4 losses by KO. What else do we have? Tony Oko fighting Christian Hammer. That fight's going to be on ESPN Plus, by the way, people. Tony Oko is one of those guys who I've always been kind of high on. I'll be honest. I think he's going to be a top 10 heavyweight. I don't know what his true ceiling is, but I think he is going to be a top 10 heavyweight. And I'm excited to see where he goes. Gary, any thought on that fight or Tony Oko?
Not really. I mean, I guess it's a step in the right direction for Yoko. We'll see how good he really is in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not watch the fights this last weekend, Gary. So Conor Benn defeating Sebastian Formella, Fabio Wardley, Liam Davies picking up wins, Alan Bebic on the Matchroom card, and obviously Javier Fortuna, Austin DeLay, and who else? People that I know.
Austin DeLay looked really good. I don't understand what happens to him when he fights someone good. He starts to look like complete trash. But DeLay looked like super good again. Like, he looks so talented and so skilled. I don't know what happens to him when he steps up. But he looked really good. Fortuna looked like Fortuna. I mean, if you like Fortuna, you like the performance. If you have questions on Fortuna, you still have those questions. Fabio Wardley, I thought, looked fantastic. Like, he was working the jab off the back foot. You could tell he was setting something up, and his jab was so thudding, right? And then he threw this left hook that hit him right behind. Paul Smith, I think it was one of the Smith brothers on Twitter, was like, that's a dive. No, it wasn't the right hand that did it. It was a delayed reaction from the left hook behind the ear that put him out, right? Like, it was one of those things where you stand up and then, like, just drop like a ton of bricks. Mm-hmm. Like, that would be the most brutal dive anyone's ever taken. Like, that was a shot that hit behind the back of the ear. The right hand that came after it didn't really land that clean. But that's not the shot that did it. he went down like a ton of burgers. I thought he, like, the reason why he couldn't get up at all was because I thought he blew something out in his knee or something, because that's how hard he went down. Like, that would, no one takes a dive that way, right? So I wanted to just spell that. Like, no, he got hit with a massive hook. Mm-hmm. But Worley looked really good. And then I keep wanting to call it Conor Benn.
Mm-hmm. How do you look?
Everyone says he looks real offensively. He's good. He's a good athlete. This guy, it wasn't the guy he fought. Sebastian Famila is the guy that fought Sean Porter, and Sean Porter, they should have stopped the fight about 7 times, and they let Porter beat the hell out of him. Like, it was good, but that guy's a punching bag. I don't know what to make of that performance. It was good. I can't criticize. There wasn't much wrong with it, except the guy he's fighting wasn't fighting back. Like, if you want to say, does the guy have skills? Is he for real? Okay, yes, he's a prospect that we should keep an eye on. I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm not saying like this guy is going to be the future of the welterweight division, or he's there. He can compete with Virgil or Boots Enos as the guys on the come up in that division. He looked good though. He's got skills. I mean,
who do you pick between the Matchroom prospects at 147? Him, Conor Benn, or Daniel Ilusinov? Same division, same promotional company. Like, who would you pick?
Kind of same point in their career.
Yeah, that's why I make the comparison. I think it's a hard. I would probably pick Conor Benn because of just his offensive volume. To be honest,
Daniel Ilusinov, get him out though. I want to say, I would take the better boxer. So I would take
Ilusinov.
That's a good question. Yeah, I would take Ellen Yusinov.
Okay, interesting. For those that have watched the fight, including you, Gary, should I go back and watch Conor Benn? Should I go back and watch the Conor Benn Famila fight?
Yeah, or you could just watch Conor Benn fight. Work the heavy bag. It's not much different.
Damn, was it that bad?
I mean, kind of. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about guys like Jason Sosa. Like, this is a poor man's Jason Sosa in there. Like, he's just getting beat up. Good, tough guy, real tough. But like, come on, he shouldn't be in the ring with these guys.
Don Hearn in the chat saying, Matt, you crazy. Why am I crazy? Don Hearn, the boss of the Hearn clan. And Jay saying, have you seen the Iamontes Santonius guy? Fucking monster. No, but I feel like the name is vaguely familiar. Is that the proper spelling, Jay? If I type up that name, would I find that guy? Hold on.
And shout out to my boy Alessandro Rigatini, who got a big W this weekend. Did some card in Tijuana.
Nice, Tijuana, man.
A body shot in the 3rd round. That put the guy down. Shout out to him.
Way to get out those taxi cab drivers, man.
I mean, I can only fight the guys they put in front of me. If they don't want to step up, he can't fight them.
Oh, it's the guy that beat Justin DeLaroche. Yes, I do remember this guy. He is good. I don't know his ceiling, but he does look talented. That's for sure. I'll keep an eye out for him if you say that you see something, Jay. Anyways, Gary, I think that's it for today's show, man. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. We covered everything, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Gary. Anything else?
Okay. Sorry about that. No, that's to find me all from social media. 3D Boxing blog, from Texas to the world. Thank you and God bless.
We'll remind everyone to go check out me and Gary's debate. Me and Gary had a debate on our other channel, Trending Down Network.
I wouldn't really call it a debate.
No, Gary, they need.
All right. Yes, it's fireworks. It's
me and Gary yelling at each other for 2 hours. It's fantastic. Where I argued for basically Leninism, Marxist Leninism, and Gary argued for anarcho-capitalism or libertarianism. It was a very fun debate. I want you to go check it out. I also did a show late last night, like very late last night, covering obviously the election and overall news in like Guatemala and France and stuff like that. So people should go check that. I also made fun of Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, and Tim Pool in last night's show. You should go check out that if you're a fan of those people, because I made fun of them. Haha. And what else? Fights obviously this weekend. Thanksgiving's this weekend, so everyone have a safe trip. If you're going anywhere, you shouldn't go anywhere. You should stay home and be responsible when it comes to COVID. But if you are going anywhere, be safe. Wear a mask. Be responsible. Fights this weekend. We should have a show, another MCR show, probably Sunday, if I had to guess, or Monday to review the fights, obviously, and to review any news. Expect another Trending Now show tomorrow sometime. Obviously, I won't do one on Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. I'll be with my grandma, my parents, eating some food, some honey baked ham, which is the best meat, by the way, to eat on Thanksgiving. Not turkey, because turkey is 90% dry ass meat. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I think turkey's. I mean, depending on what you do with the turkey, turkey's a little bit overrated. I mean, if you smoke it, it's good. Depending on exactly what you do with your turkey, but turkey's a little bit overrated.
It's 100% overrated. Unless you have like 1,000 gallons of gravy on it, it's not worth it. It's just not. Sufi guy in the chat saying anarcho-capitalism is greater than Leninism, Marxism. Well, go check out the debate with me and Gary, because I think I won. Okay, so that's all that matters is who wins debates. We all know that. And what else? Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and take care of yourself. Gary, you take care of yourself too, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, the show this weekend. I mean, there's not really much. I mean,
Sunday,
depending on maybe we get done. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah,
probably. You do anything for Thanksgiving, or just with the kids and the wife?
The kids and the wife, and then the in-laws might pop by.
What are you doing for food? What are you doing for food? That's the better question, right? Because you're Texas, so what do you guys barbecue for like Thanksgiving? Is that like a normal thing to have? Like,
well, we're smoking the turkey. Because I'm not like turkey's fine, but it's not really the hierarchy of food. It's not high on that list, like of meats. Like, so I like smoking it. So we're smoking the turkey, which takes like hours.
It's a long ass time, bro.
The Cowboys and the Redskins doesn't really do it for me. Who are the Lions playing? Lions Texans, is that it? I think it's Lions Texans. These things really aren't moving the needle. And then the Longhorns play on Friday. So
Jay Proud in the chat saying stuffed turkey with gravy slaps. Turkey is just a beta chicken.
And fish meat is basically a vegetable.
Oh my god! Hey, I do like fish though.
I do too.
It's not
fish goes above turkey.
Absolutely. You can do just far more with it.
Yeah. But don't put cheese on it. That's what my grandma would have called Americana. No good.
And also, by the way, turkeys are like the dumbest fucking birds you ever see in the wild. I remember I was hunting once, and literally had like turkeys because they like roost in trees. People, if those don't know, they actually jump into trees and like they were like sleep in trees. It's fucking weird. But I was, going hunting around. I was kind of tired. It was a while of walking, so I sat next to a tree. Right. All of a sudden, I heard the right, like the fucking like whatever they do, the gobbling, right. And all of a sudden, they just fucking fell on me, bro. There was like 6 or 7 of them that just fell on top of me. And those motherfuckers had no idea what I was doing. And like, I could have killed all of them with my bare hands.
So I'm saying, like, that's why they had turkey for Thanksgiving. It's the easiest bird to kill, right? Like,
it's the easiest bird. I'm telling you.
Literally easier than shooting fish in a barrel.
You can walk up to wild turkeys and shoot them with a hammer, okay? They are so dumb. It's hilarious. And that's why honey baked ham is delicious, because it's just also better than turkey. And plus, I mean, wild pigs to make honey baked ham, that's delicious right there.
Although pigs are, have you ever been to a pig farm, Matt? Have you seen a pig farm?
Like an actual like
for feed, not for breed. Yeah. Like the breed pigs are even more disgusting. But have you seen a pig? Mm-hmm. Okay, pigs are disgusting. Right? Like, if I was a pig farmer, I wouldn't eat ham. I love pork. Like, it's my favorite of the meats. But like, if I saw how disgusting pigs were every day, it would turn me off. Especially breed pigs. Breed pigs are disgusting. They're like 500 pounds. They don't move. Like, ugh.
That's why you go. That's why you go hunt like wild pigs. Just go hunt some boar.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's wild pigs in Texas, right?
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking so tasty. Oh my god. And they're not like 500 pounds and like Like that meme of the pig with the giant balls with the shit on top of the balls. Anyways, guys, have a great day, great evening, great night. On that lovely note, take care. And remember, guys, at all times, fuck the police and free Palestine. Peace.